Hello, and welcome to another episode of Scavenger Life. This is episode number 436 at scavengerlife.com.
So let's talk about being warm and cozy, which we are right now.
Yes.
With our wood stove on a beautiful Sunday in rural America.
Yep, picture this.
What a time to be alive.
Yep.
I only bring that up, so a couple of scavenger things, non-eBay related, but this is Scavenger Life. Number one, we spent $2,600 about a month ago to insulate under our house. Our house is, on like little stilts, I guess. I don't know. It's like a crawl space.
Stilts.
I don't know. What do you call those?
Yeah, there's a crawl space. Like, we don't have a basement.
So we hired this company to come out. They were good, cool, like
hipster dudes.
Like hipster kids.
Like young, like late 20s hipster dudes. We were like, who are you?
And they did spray foam, which is, in our area, a relatively new thing in our area.
So let me interject.
Go for it.
It was a year ago. We got a quote. The guy who does the insulation for all, he's a young guy too, does the insulation for all our buildings. We love him. He's local. We were like, how much to spray foam the bottom of our house? And he was like, $6,000. And we were like, yeah, no.
And then I think that's maybe 2 years ago. But anyway, so I asked him again. And he's like, oh, now it's a lot cheaper. And he said $2,600. But that's a lot of money.
Still a lot of money, right?
But they crawled under there. They spray foamed it a couple inches.
They did it.
And I actually had crawled under there a week ago. And I actually insulated our pipes. Because our pipes are...
There's some exposed pipes.
Exposed pipes. And man, it is like... Whoever built this house did not think someone would have to go under the house. It's really...
Is it nasty? It's dirt, right?
I mean, it's dirt, and there's only like a couple feet, so you're really crawling. It's not easy. So anyway, it was great. I was a little skeptical. I was like, is this really worth it? I will tell you.
Yeah.
I can start the fire in the morning, add a couple logs to it, and it's... I'm not going to feed the fire anymore, and it will be done by early afternoon.
It's not even noon right now.
Right. It'll be done. The house, is going to get up to about 80. I'm not going to add any more wood, and by the time we go to bed, it'll be like 72 degrees in the house, and then when we wake up, it's about 60, and it's in the upper 20s, early 30s. Lower 30s.
Yesterday, especially.
I love it. Scavenger life, and that means it's less wood I have to get, less wood I have to
Well, that's part of it. Was like, okay, we've lived here for over about 10 years in this house, and we use wood for our wintertime heating, and we would just go through wood, and overnight you'd wake up in the morning, and the house was in the 50s, probably low 50s, and the floor was freezing.
Yeah.
And we knew we had to get it insulated, but we were like, it's so expensive.
I was still kind of skeptical because we have great windows, like the low E double pane windows. When we redid the house, the walls and the ceiling are insulated.
Yeah.
We've any little air cracks we've solved, and I was like, it can't be the floor. There's
I think it was part of it.
So I'm sold. The other thing is, and I don't know how scavenger life this is, but I'm excited about it. I have a Toyota Tacoma truck.
2008 Toyota Tacoma.
It's like our workhorse. We depend on it. It's great. We had a guy doing some brickwork for us on our building, cutting out windows for in the brick. And we were standing by my truck, and he's like, just tell me when you want to sell this thing, when it doesn't, when it falls apart. I'm like, what are you talking about? It's like 2008. He's like, yeah, these things, don't you know, Toyota, the frame is going to rust out, and it's not going to be any, it's going to be, you're just going to have to dump it. And I'll buy it and part it out for you.
And you're like, what are you talking about?
I was like, what? So I took it down to our local mechanic, and we put it up on the
lift.
I'm not thinking of all the words. Stilts, lift. And sure enough, our brick guy was absolutely right. There are 3 or 4 points where the steel frame, the metal's so it rusted out. It's flaking off.
Oh no!
I mean, it wasn't so bad where the guy was like,
"You can't drive this," right?
But he was like, "Yeah, this looks bad." So I took it to our next town over, where the dealership is, where
it was purchased.
Yep. And I said, "This is the problem." He put it up on a lift.
Yeah.
And he's like, yep, it's a problem. Toyota will give you a brand new frame.
For free.
Because I guess I did go and I checked online, and there was a whole class action.
Oh, it was a class action lawsuit about the frame, right?
Right. And so I guess they have to do that. And so I'm going tomorrow to drop the truck off, and they're going to give me a loaner, and they're going to put a brand new frame in it and brand new springs.
I can't believe
I've asked 3 times. This is at no cost to me, right?
I love how you phrase that. This is going to cost me $0, right? Like, I'm going to walk away and have no bill.
They did give me a list of things, and while we're at it, these things should also be done.
You're like, nope.
And I was like, nope, I don't want any of that done. I'll let my local guy do it.
Yeah, you have.
I guess it's scavengery in a way where we've talked about, if you have the time and the gumption
to research it,
you can, get a lower internet bill, a lower credit card interest rate. You can do all these things by just calling and asking and putting the work in.
Because all they can say is no, and you're like, fine. A lot of times they say yes.
Yeah. So I'm confident I'm not going to have to pay for it, but I'm going to believe it when I see it. I'm going to ask him one more time as I hand my keys over.
Right.
This is at no cost to me, correct?
Well, look, I mean, if then they gave you the truck back and said, by the way, you owe this much, you'd be like, I asked you 4 times. You can't just
the good thing is, too, the dealership, they don't care because Toyota's the one paying for it, so they're getting paid
to do the work.
And I guess Toyota's doing it either because they feel they have to, or
they don't want to get sued again.
Trying to keep me as a customer anyway. Okay.
That's
eBay.
Interesting.
Are you ready, eBay?
Oh, God. Yes.
Are you ready?
Ready.
This is
ready.
Our worst year on eBay.
Worst year?
Yep. And it's official.
Wow.
It's official. I think we can call it. We're into November.
Right. We're almost done.
It's here. November 10th. I mean, this is a 4th quarter. For those of you who don't know, this is when, it's holiday sales. This is when so many people are making, a large part of their income during the, a year. And it's been, we had a bad week, but it's been like
this all year.
It's just been kind of slow, aka soft sales since May for us. And I kept thinking, it's slow summer. And it's I don't know. Is it going to be like this?
This week was really bad.
And so my question is, and these are all the things that everyone thinks about, I think, because I see the comments about it. Do we have the wrong stuff in our store?
Right.
People don't...
Well, for the last 10 years, we had okay stuff.
Right. I mean, it's the same stuff we've always had. Do we have the wrong prices?
Right.
Everyone talks about that. Don't list too high, but, it will run sales. I mean...
Yeah. We have make offer.
Is it eBay's, search code that's hiding your stuff because we're not doing all that black magic stuff that people do, or you're...
Ending it.
Relisting it. And tweaking and adding different titles and, taking new pictures, and because we're not doing that. Is it more competition now from other sites like Poshmark and Etsy and
Mercari
and Gilded or whatever?
Yeah, there's a million other
there's
sites,
so many sites now where people are selling and buying. Right. Is that are we finally
feeling that? We're finally for years people are like the eBay killer.
Is it more competition from just more people selling on eBay?
Right, because of mobile.
And we may be contributing to that by putting out this information out there.
I wonder why. Finally,
I don't know.
We put ourselves out of business.
Is it just buyers are not buying as much just because of it's a kind of a weird economy?
Oh, so here's another theory, right? Are buyers buying less vintage, used, antique stuff on eBay because there's so many sales? There's Goodwill bins, they can buy it out in the world.
So are buyers getting more smarter where they know they can buy, if they can go to estate sales and buy stuff direct?
It's not even smarter. It's that there's more of them. Auctions, estate sales. Boomers are downsizing.
Let me rephrase that because I hadn't thought about that. Is it that the places where we would all go buy stuff are getting smarter and they're selling direct to customer.
There's that too.
Right. So auctions, estate sales.
Why buy it on eBay? We can buy
Goodwills, thrift stores, they're getting smarter. Instead of just kind of dumping stuff, they're pulling out the good stuff. They're selling stuff online, Goodwill.
Like before we can even get it, the people who would have bought it from us on eBay are like, well, I already bought a cool thing at Goodwill.
And we've seen that neighborhood auctions are now going online. Instead of selling to like the 25 people that go to the auctions on Friday nights.
Exactly.
I don't know.
It could be, it could be a combination of things.
It is so, I get when sales are slow, especially for long periods of time, and it feels like something has really changed, and you're trying to figure out, is it me?
What is it?
Is it you?
What can I do?
Is it eBay? Like, tell me what to do. I'm freaking out here.
Right.
And I guess that's the thing about, I think there's a price, though, of, like, wrong expectations, some sellers I know have an unreal idea of how fast their items should sell and how much they'll make. Mm-hmm. And I think that's why those are the people that really get mad and get really into, like, the conspiracy theories, because they have this unreal expectation that's poisoning their thinking. Like, I was told I was going to make $20,000 a month selling tchotchke that I find in the Goodwills.
Yeah.
Why isn't this happening? And I just think, for me, when we're having this slow time, it's like we have to, like, set our expectations correctly. Like, instead of freaking out about, like, slow sales.
Yeah, I mean, you change your expectations, and like we've always said, and I don't know if this is true for all scavengers listening, it's true for some of us, we have other streams of income, and so that's super helpful. You're like, it was a hard week on eBay, but our other streams of income help cover things, which you don't want. I mean, you want to be like, this is what eBay covers.
Right.
This is what it always covers. This is what the other stuff covers.
Right.
And sometimes that doesn't happen.
And I guess my point is, when we agree, like, things are not going well at this exact moment, we have choices, and that goes with what our expectation is out of eBay. Do we then go and put a lot more time into eBay?
Right.
Repricing stuff?
Right.
Do we go out and scavenge different kinds of items?
Yeah.
Do we take new pictures of certain items? Should we put a lot more time into putting stuff on Poshmark, or put a lot more time on putting stuff on Etsy? I think for us, our eBay expectation has always been the same. Like, we've never said we want to make $1 million on it. Like, we're trying to grow eBay where it's bigger and bigger and bigger. For us, it's always been like, what's the balance between, like, doing enough work on eBay and making enough to own our time?
Right.
Like, for us, it's about $1,000 a week. We'll pay our mortgage and our healthcare and kind of like all of our general basic bills. And then we're happy, and then we put our time into all these other things.
Right. And so, okay. And so when you don't meet the $1,000 a week, you're like, what do I do right now?
Right.
Is it a right now thing, or is it a long term, we're changing our strategy, or you're like, the market just sucks right now, period, that's it?
Although for some people, maybe not. I don't know. I mean, this is a podcast of no answers.
Right. This is
I have
no answers.
Of hearing people.
I only have questions. Yeah.
So we were on the it's forum, and Mike from Atlanta was asking, like, maybe this is the time when we just all have to acknowledge you can not just list on eBay anymore. Maybe you have to list on multiple sites. And we were having an interesting conversation about it. And my answer is just like, if that's true, like, if that's a world we're getting into where you have to have multiple streams of income on
different
sites, you're selling on you're cross-posting. He's even like, I'm going to start a Shopify store, so I'll have, like, my own entire store.
Yep.
I mean, I'm just like, that's not interesting.
It's not interesting to me at all either.
Like, if that's it, maybe it's going to be done for us. I mean, I think my expectation has always been, like, find cool stuff that we think is fun and is valuable for cheap.
Right.
Put it on eBay. And it's like, eBay, I've done my job.
Now you do yours.
And you do yours, And if that expectation is now changing, I mean, I don't know. Will TBD.
Yeah.
TBD.
TBD, to be determined.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know the answer either because that doesn't interest me at all. Like, even if people are like, it'll auto cross post. I'm like, I don't. Yeah.
But like you said, to our credit, we have not put all of our eggs in one basket. And when people always talk about diversifying their income, oftentimes they're talking about diversifying on different online sites. Like,
right, that's
so
to me.
To me, it's like real diversification is like finding absolutely different kinds of businesses.
Job.
So if like online selling in general is not good, you have different things. So thank God we have spent the last 8 years, how long now, doing a rental business, and that's been the thing that's really
been helpful,
been helping us.
I don't have any answers either, and it does get scary, and it's always scary for anybody, like for any diversification that has to do with the internet, to be honest, because it's like, Amazon shut down my store, or eBay's horrible and they banned me. Like there is only so much control you have over like these platforms, in terms of selling and in terms of whatever. I mean, there are things that I want to sell on eBay that,
yeah. I mean, there was, I don't
know.
On the forum, you're like going into a whole.
I was like, I just have like a
in the forum that it was good. It's just it's like ultimately this does have to be fun for us, and the selling has to be fun, and we're just finding that balance. I think if you've heard our podcast over the years now, this kind of podcast this kind of episode always happens so often where we're just like, is this working? Like, I don't know,
exactly.
And
I
so,
feel like that like every day.
So, and I always have to acknowledge there's kind of a level of powerlessness over eBay where you're just like doing the best you can, and then at some point you're just like, I don't know. Another theory is like, is eBay's like kind of screwy updates where they're messing up searches,
those
bad item descriptions? Like, is that
item specifics are a mess?
Is that affecting things?
Yeah, it can't help.
Yeah.
Look, I just on the item specifics front, I went through and like cleaned up after we had been done traveling last time. I cleaned up all the item specifics. It was like basically 300 friggin' items. And, eBay's whole thing of, we'll make sure your items don't get like barred from moving forward if you make a change. Like basically it's like this red mark that's like, you can't do anything to this. You just have to leave it as is until you fix this error. Well, they didn't do that. Mm-hmm. Like, I had errors all over the place on all kinds of categories for the stupidest item specifics that they now require, which is fine going forward. Just put that information in. But all my old stuff, it didn't get transferred over or allowed to move forward. Yep. That's pretty messy on the back end.
Have you talked to our helper who takes the pictures and writes all that stuff to let her know everything she needs?
No, I haven't. But now I definitely need to do that.
Note to self. Yeah. I'm actually going to send you an email about that now. This is how we communicate. We write emails to each other.
There's a couple things I need to tell her, actually. There's those item specifics of like, there are now a bazillion item specifics. You don't need to fill them all out, but fill in the ones with the little asterisks. But the other thing too is like, something I've noticed that she does, and I'm sure a lot of people do this because they want to like neaten up their photos, is she crops photos. eBay hates that. There are times on eBay on the desktop where I'm looking at photos of either our stuff or someone else's stuff, and it will skip those photos. So there are some instances when you're taking photos where, you're taking a picture of a square thing and there's all this space around it and it looks junky. You're like, that looks like garbage. So you'll crop it. You'll crop the sides. You'll crop the top. But I just need to tell her, don't do that anymore. Right. It's fine. Get as close as you can.
Right.
And be done with
just
it.
Make sure you're cropping in the camera. Like, don't.
No more crop photos. Like eBay is.
No, I don't mean like actually take the picture correctly instead of taking a wide shot and then crop.
Yes. She does that anyway, but I think she like neatens it up where she just like. I'm like, don't do that. eBay wants the size it wants. If you need to rotate it, that's the other thing about the eBay app. It doesn't have rotate, like automatic rotate like your phone does. That's crazy to me. So anyway, that's another thing that needs to go in your note to me. That's why I'm saying it.
Okay.
Anyway, moving on.
Welcome to the eBay forums, everybody.
Yeah, we're on the eBay community forum.
Okay,
right now.
A couple more things on eBay which are annoying. I don't want them to be annoying, but this is actually annoying. So eBay, okay, America, USA, Congress, they have now passed this internet tax.
Internet sales tax.
And so it's like all happening, states and localities, and everyone's like now charging taxes on stuff being sold on the internet.
Yep.
Good or bad, who cares? It's happening.
Right. Good
news is eBay is taking care of that. So when someone buys something from Oregon, the buyer gets charged an Oregon tax, and eBay sends that to whoever in Oregon wants that tax.
Yeah.
And we don't have to do anything. That's a really great thing, because I remember when the internet tax was being talked about a year or two ago, we were all worried.
Like, I'm going to have to do every state and territory's sales tax?
It's going to be some crazy nonsense. The problem is, and this is, tell me if I'm wrong, but this is how I'm understanding it. So someone buys something for $10 and there's like a 50-cent tax on it that we never see or touch.
Right.
But eBay has, sends that to PayPal, and PayPal charges us
based on that
their whatever
number.
2.9% of the 50 cents.
Yes.
Which you're like, okay, that's not that much. But sale after sale after sale, we're paying a PayPal fee on the tax that's being grabbed. And I guess it's annoying people because that was never discussed, and eBay really in their little update never really kind of like they didn't really write that out or translate.
Okay, so here's how I'm seeing it, and I saw it on our forum, and I saw it a bunch on Reddit. Like, people are like, "What is that?" Nobody really knew that would happen until it started happening, and people are looking at their totals. I'm getting fees on taxes. That's nuts.
Right.
But I bet that if you do eBay managed payments, you're not going to get that.
We don't know that. I don't know.
Somebody needs to clarify that.
And so I don't know, like when we go to manage payments, is there going to be a fee
on
the taxes? And we don't know that. And, and there's a reasonable discussion that eBay could have with us. Like, well, we're shouldering the cost of dealing with all these taxes and sending them to all these. So this is extra cost for us. So you guys need to shoulder some of this too. And that's a reasonable conversation to have, but they're not having that conversation.
There's no conversation.
Yeah. And it just kind of happened, and people, and that's the thing that, like, someone on the forum was like asking, what could eBay do to gain seller trust back or strengthen trust? And it's that kind of thing. When eBay is making changes, fundamental changes to how business is done on eBay, without conversation, without explanation, there's no place to go to talk to eBay about that other than like some customer rep that doesn't know
anything.
So it's and now my confusion is, and I don't really know the answer, when we get that PayPal 1099 at the end of the year,
will it include those?
Is it include all the taxes that were paid for when the item was done? Is that included in our profit or in our
It would be weird,
income?
right? So it's a good question, but it would be weird if it was, because we never. It's like a pass through.
Right.
You're like, it just got taken out.
I mean, if they do that, it would be a fairly easy fix, where eBay would then have to have something that says, this was the total taxes we took out.
So you can subtract that.
You just expense it, and you just make it very clear on the IRS. But like, again, none of this has been communicated, so we don't know.
Yeah.
The other thing is so we use GoDaddy bookkeeping. Right. Other people have other kind of bookkeeping. Weren't we having a problem with like PayPal?
Yes.
Go for it.
So what I was seeing was, and this wasn't on the seller end, it was on me buying stuff. I was seeing all these little charges of stuff that I bought on eBay with my debit card, my PayPal debit card. And it was just like, it wasn't like sales tax collected for eBay. It was like unknown. Don't know what this charge is. You're like, what are all these unknown charges? Mm-hmm. I categorize them as like merchandise sales tax. Like it's part of the merchandise price, basically, because I'm buying stuff on eBay.
So this is the taxes you're paying to Oregon.
That's what I was seeing. Okay. That's what I was seeing. That's what I was understanding. Because they give you like the long transaction number that you're like, have no idea what this is. But I looked it up on my PayPal account, and I was like, oh, that's what it was.
So the problem is that eBay isn't giving that a name, or
you're like, what the hell is this?
Some like financial number.
So, but on the seller side, I didn't see anything like that as like uncategorized. Don't know how to categorize it, so I don't know if we're seeing that yet or seeing it at all. Yep. But yeah, so number one, this is one of those things where something changes federally. I mean, it's basically federally, right? And it's a mess. Mm-hmm. Through eBay, Airbnb, same thing. I was doing my Airbnb numbers and I was like seeing all this weirdness and I was like, what is going on? Like the way they're giving me my numbers is so wacky this month, you know? I even called them and they were like, we don't know. And you're like, okay, I'm just going to figure this out one by one by myself. So, and you saw how frustrated I was with that process. I was like pissed. So yeah, it's one of these things where you're like, this is new. Nobody wanted to do it. It's happening. And we all just have to navigate through it. And it's messy. It's like when eBay started doing like the global shipping program or free returns. We were all like, this is a nightmare. And then now you're like, it's fine. Whatever. Who cares?
Okay.
So that's my take.
So far, this podcast has been a bit of a bummer. But, this is reality of just running a business or whatever, and especially eBay. So let's talk about the good news.
Yeah.
The good news is that we are streamlining our business, our eBay business, more than ever.
Yeah.
So, number one, we have two helpers.
Two helpers, yeah.
Our helper who takes photos and writes the listings, she now officially started to put items into our inventory system.
Yep. So we came up with a system.
All new items she started, she puts on the item the bin, the shelf, and the shelf unit.
Yes. In the opposite.
Right.
So it's shelf unit, shelf number. It's not a number. It's an A, B, C, or D. And then the bin number.
Right.
So the first two bins, shelf unit 1/A, it's on the top shelf, /001, because that's the bin number. Yep. But look, we got 1 million. I'm still getting like 7 paragraph emails of people describing their inventory. So I'm going to describe it to you. This is what we're doing. So he's laughing at me. So here's the other thing. So that's new. I am not going to have enough stuff for her to take pictures of next week. I'm going to pull a bin. I'm going to number it, and I'm going to be like, go look in our inventory for every single one of these items and put the bin number.
Okay, and then the second thing that I think has been going well is that our second helper, she is now packing for us, and she's been doing a great job. She's been pulling stuff herself.
She'll find stuff by herself. I don't even have to tell her.
Right. She's been packing delicate stuff. I mean, it's almost like, I know you still are meeting with her.
Yeah.
And kind of helping her, but sometimes she's...
But I'll walk away. I mean...
Yeah. And
we'll pull stuff together. She'll find stuff. I mean, I write notes, go find it here. But then I'm like, okay, pack and let me know when you're done and I'll help you bring it to the front porch.
So yeah, I mean, it is ironic that, things are slow, but yet we're getting more streamlined than we've ever been before. And now we just have to make choices as to I guess we just kind of see if what eBay is going to be doing here, our kind of store, and just see what kind of things we want to do to kind of tweak things. We'll see. Yeah. Okay, let's talk about our numbers. How bad was it? I mean, my God, we're talking.
I don't know.
We're talking about how bad it is.
I don't want to look. I'm scared.
100, 200. Okay, we made $894.98.
Okay, so almost $900. So close.
And we need to make $1,000.
So
I mean, so it's not like nightmare scenario, but this time of year we should be making double that. At least. And so that's the thing. It's more about expectations, I guess. So, we're not, so that's it. So things we stole, we only sold 25 items. I mean, that's a big thing. Like our average price was actually $35-ish.
Pretty good, but only
but 25 items. I mean, my God, like it's just crazy. And I know there are going to be people who post on the its forum that are making $2,000, with smaller stores.
Right, and also so that's what's so interesting about eBay. Like there'll be people who are like, "This was my worst week ever," and we're like, "This is our best week," and vice versa. And you're like, "I don't know."
And it's always hard to compare because people are selling different things.
All kinds of different things,
Scavenge of the week. Did we do any real scavenging? No. I mean,
I got a couple things from like online auctions and stuff, but and I'm always like, there are a lot of people on this forum and podcast who listen who are like, oh, I keep an eye on certain things on eBay and I buy those things, and I do that every week.
Yep.
But not very much this week.
Customer issues. We have had a pretty good week.
I got a negative removed.
Yep. And that was good. We had a couple of painful returns this week, like that jacket that got returned. They said it didn't fit, so they paid
That's just shipping, like, what can you do about it?
But that's tough when it's like, an $80 jacket and you have to like...
You're like, it didn't fit. I mean, it's clothes. What can you do? Put
it back up.
Yeah.
Okay, other things we learned in the forum, we were talking about it. Thanks to Dan in Australia. I've always been talking about like Spotify. Like, how do we get our thing on Spotify?
And he
actually just told me. This is exactly
it's like, we could have just Googled it.
But I needed that push. And so I actually put our podcast, I think it's on Spotify. I followed all the steps. So I think you can just go to Spotify.
Did you look on Spotify for our podcast?
Scavenger Life.
No, you didn't. You're like, I think it might be there. I don't know if I.
That's as much as I could do.
Well, I don't know if they send us like a. Well, there are a bunch of people listening who could go look right now. Usually they send you like a verification, like you're now on Spotify. So
if you're driving in your Tesla and you open your Spotify,
is Spotify on Tesla?
Yep.
Because for a long time it was something else.
They are now, so you can tell
us. People probably tweeted at Elon enough to be like
of the world. Yeah.
Spotify.
Okay, let's take the questions or comments that people sent in.
You can call our voicemail line any time, day or night. The phone number is 540-407-8486. You have 3 minutes to leave a message, or you can email us an audio file at thescavengerlife@gmail.com.
Hi, Brian and Jay. This is Liz, and I go by Liz for a day over in the forums. I posted this in the forums a few days ago, but I didn't really, no one really responded to it, but I think it's something everybody should know. This is what happened, and I'll try to make this as short as possible. A buyer accepted an offer from me, and when I went to send the invoice to him, the shipping amount field was empty. It didn't have a dollar amount in it. It was there, but it just was empty. It didn't have anything there. And I thought that was kind of odd. And so I just thought about it for a few minutes, and I said, you know what, let me call eBay, because I did check to make sure that that particular listing had everything that it needed, had a shipping policy to it, which included international shipping, because this will be going to Canada, and the international shipping is calculated shipping. I'm not going through the global shipping program. So I did call eBay, and I talked to someone in the Philippines. I don't have the concierge service. And they told me that, well, after looking at everything, basically they said, yes, something is definitely wrong. And they instructed me to calculate the shipping manually and then put that in the invoice and send it. So I did ask them if they were going to contact me back to let me know if this was a glitch or if they resolved the issue. And basically, I was kind of brushed off and told that I just need to keep checking back myself. Well, I did send that invoice, and I got an message from the buyer probably about a half an hour later, and they said, hey, I'm trying to pay, but for some reason there's something weird going on with the shipping. So I did instruct the buyer to actually contact eBay, because really there was nothing that I can do. And it's kind of a bad thing on the buyer's end, because they did accept the offer and they tried to pay and they can't. So at this point, I don't have the resolution to the problem. But I wanted to kind of let people know that this was out there, because unless you have somebody that is trying to purchase something from you internationally, you will not know that this exists. I believe this is a glitch, another glitch, and it may have had something to do with the whole item specific update. It may be another part of that update that nobody's talking about. And the reason why I think it's a glitch is because I actually have a friend that's over in the UK. And so we both tested some things out, because when I look at my listings, everything has shipping and it looks beautiful. And we know that you have to have some type of shipping policy in before you can even make a listing. But when he looked at it, my friend from the UK, there was several of my listings that had no shipping policy on it at all. But if I looked at that same listing again, I could see it, but he couldn't. So we decided to do some further testing, and we looked at some other shops as well. And of course, since I'm here in the US, when I looked at the shops, I could see the shipping policies. But when he looked at it, there was no shipping policies. He also sent me some screenshots as well, so that I could see what he was seeing. And sure enough, some of the listings had shipping on it and some of them didn't. We couldn't figure out if there was a connecting theme, or if it was certain types of listings that didn't have the shipping on it. So I just wanted to let you all know, so that you can put this out to the community and let them know. We looked in the eBay forums and everything, and apparently no one has caught this yet, but that's definitely a glitch, and I'm probably going to be contacting eBay again to see if it's resolved. Because if this is happening to the international sellers, that could bring down sales as well, if you have your items pegged to go out internationally. So that's pretty much it. Thank you for everything that you do, and I hope that you all will be able to test it and see if it's affecting your shops as well. Thanks a lot. Bye.
So this is one of those things that we talk about where we're like, why are sales down? If there are people in the world who are trying to buy things and can't pay, and shipping policies aren't showing up, I mean, whether it's domestic or international, that's a problem.
So I actually saw that post on the forum, and I didn't answer because I hadn't heard anyone else talk about this. I don't know if that's like a glitch that is site-wide, if that's just a specific for your store. I don't know. So it'd be interesting to hear if other people are having those
she said her friend in the UK was looking at other US based shops and couldn't see. So you're like, is it everyone in the UK can't buy stuff in the US?
Yep.
I've sent stuff to the UK through global shipping, so it sounds like it's anyone maybe who either doesn't have global shipping or has like a fallback for international shipping on things that don't go global shipping, like certain categories. You know, it's like what?
So we've still been selling stuff overseas just through global shipping.
Right, but are there things in our store that don't qualify in quotes for global shipping that could go first class to the UK that are not selling to the UK for that, whatever those things are. Right, so it's just like, it's complicated. But that sounds like a glitch. That sounds like a big glitch, you know, so...
Well, I mean, we were talking on the its forum again about, like, someone asked, like, how does eBay gain trust from sellers again? And, you know, a big thing I said was, stop doing changes in the fourth quarter. Like, September 1st is the beginning of the fourth quarter.
Don't touch
eBay developers have to have all their code pushed and tested in the site in perfect working order by September 1st. You should not be pushing changes in November, you know? It just makes no sense. I'm not quite sure why. I don't know if it's like They think it's going to work perfect, so they don't worry about it. If they're delayed, they're not getting their work done in the summer, and so they're pushing it late. I don't know. It just makes no sense to change integral parts of the site during the busiest time,
like item specifics.
I mean, not even even if they don't care about what sellers think, just for their own bottom line. Because if we can't sell things, then eBay
they don't make any money
in making them money. So I don't know if anyone eBay hears this, just code freeze September 1st.
Hi, Jay and Ryan. This is Samantha down in Florida. Listening to you for a couple years. I have two situations I'd like you to comment on. I had somebody buy something and then go to return it as not as described. Now, I have free returns, free 60-day returns. They wrote in and said that it was not as described, and they said it was such and such color, and I'm thinking that's not what I shipped. I look at the listing, and I don't get it because they basically picked a false reason to do the return, which isn't necessary because I have free returns. So I don't know if I should follow up with eBay or maybe ask the person, why'd you say it's not as described when it is? But because it is free return. So I don't know if I need to do anything additional. Then I also this is actually 3 months ago. I sold something. It was only $14.99. I delivered it. Then a month later, I hear from PayPal that they're disputing the purchase, that they didn't mean to buy it. Well, how's that possible? How do you accidentally buy something that you have to go through checkout? But anyway, so I sent the evidence, and 2 months later, I hear that they decided in my favor, but the credit card company decided in the favor of the buyer. Should I follow up or anything? They're not going to take the money from me. I get to keep the money, and I guess they're just going to eat it. So I don't know. Should I follow up with the original person and say, I had free returns. You could have just returned it, but it's been 3 months, so I don't know if I should do anything or just be like, weird. I'll just go on in life. All right. Love to hear what you think, or if you've had weird ones like that. All right. Take care. Thanks for all the great information. Really appreciate it. Bye.
So I don't know if you're new to eBay but this is everything you said is super normal and everyday. And it's just that's just welcome to online selling. Yes.
Anywhere, yeah.
Even if you have free returns, people will say, you told me it was blue, it's blue-green, it's not as described, I'm sending it back. Even though it's free return, I want you to pay the other side too.
Right. They want you to pay for everything.
Okay. Number one, we never get in those discussions with the buyer because they've already showed themselves as being unreasonable. We're not going to change their mind, but you can call eBay.
Well, here's my other theory too. It's funny that she was like, but I have free returns. Why are they why are they making a false claim or whatever? Well, not everyone has free returns. So this person is so used to being not as described, for anything, right. Because they're like, I'm not paying for anything. It's like Amazon. You're like, boom.
If you just call eBay and to dispute it, wait till it gets to you because they might not even send it back.
They probably won't.
And if it doesn't get sent back, then it
doesn't matter anyway. Yeah.
If they actually return it and it's in your hands and everything's fine, you call eBay.
Just call them.
And very often they'll.
At this point, I don't know what they will do. Yeah. Most of the time, if you have free returns, If you have free returns, you should have the ability to not refund them their original shipping. I'm pretty sure eBay, because you're like, I'm paying for the return back, they give you that option. You're like, no. The buyer can dispute it, and supposedly eBay's supposed to cover that. So that's the way it works right now.
And then the whole thing about someone bought something and they disputed it through PayPal and a credit card. That happens every so often too. Again, everything happened correctly. PayPal covered you. There's no sense. Don't contact that buyer.
Don't talk to those
and
people
ask
at
them
all.
why they disputed it. I mean,
and at this point, if they went in your favor and you're not getting you're not having to refund,
it's great.
Don't even call PayPal.
It's great.
If they went in the buyer's favor, I would call PayPal and be like, "What's up with this?
Right.
Please explain it and please change it." And if they don't, at least
everything it worked as it should. Yeah. There's buyer or there's seller protection, so they covered it, and you're good.
Yeah.
Hi, this is the same person that had the aha moment several months ago. weeks ago. I've lost complete track of time. But the one thing that I have found for inventory, and it's been this ongoing discussion, that is working out so well, and I'm like y'all, I have a little bit of everything and not a lot of anything, is this Pack and Track app from Duck, D-U-C-K, that was recommended to me, and there's a YouTube video on it on how well it works. And I sat down yesterday afternoon and inventoried 8 boxes of items. And the cool thing with this whole app and this inventory system is that if something sells, you simply delete it off the app. It comes, it's on your phone. Simply delete it. You can add to the boxes. You can delete from the boxes. You can put a location on them. You don't have to. But I would highly recommend, with all these one-of-a-kind items, of looking into that app, because it is saving my butt right now. And, we're just still plugging along and praying that we made the right decision, because we had all these clothes and that glitch went through with eBay, and I will not tell you how many listings I've had to fix. And they're still popping up every day. But y'all are still motivating me, so I do hope that everything goes well. And we'll look forward to hearing you next week. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, thanks for the call. I'm glad you're still plugging away. That's all we can do. So she is talking about, this is an advertisement, but it is a commercial site, duckpackandtrack.com. Okay. And it's like a service, and I guess how it works, I'm not sure, like you buy stickers.
Like with QR codes.
That then you write on it. And It's got the code, and I guess it's got, and then you have this Pack and Track app on your phone, and then you can scan things, and I don't know. I don't really know how it works, but that's cool. It's just another way to organize things. That's cool. I mean, if that helps.
Anything that helps is good.
It's kind of funny that there's actually, the market, the online selling world is so, it's robust now. There's actually little small companies popping up to...
it's amazing, which is cool.
It's called App-Based Storage and Locating System.
Well, there's a YouTube video on there, so we should watch that. And anyone who's interested should check it out. I've never heard of that. It's like, how am I an eBay professional and also run a podcast and a forum about eBay? And there are things that I'm just like, I never heard of that.
I think this stuff is all popping up,
Yeah. Well, thanks for the call. That was cool.
All right, that's the end of our, I don't know what this is, rant/show.
We're cutting out half of it, so most people aren't hearing.
You can check out our blog at scavengerlife.com. That's in scavengerlife.com/forum is where we all talk and hang out and commiserate. If you have a question or comment, because I'd love to hear other people's feelings about this stuff, call us at
540-407-8486.
Yep, and we post this every Monday morning. Sometimes it gets in Sunday nights. Wednesdays is our What Sold video with Steve Schultz. He was talking also about it's been slow for him as well.
We're not the only ones.
You and your sister are going to do another shampoo and booze.
Okay, shampoo and booze, you guys.
It's about Airbnb.
It's about Airbnb, short-term rentals. We started doing videos. So we're putting videos on YouTube. It's also on our blog.
So it's no more podcasts. It's now
Well,
videos.
it's not no more podcasts. It still goes in our iTunes RSS feed, so you'll be downloading videos, just as a warning. But it's fun, so I'm recording.
But the
with her
idea
today.
is to try videos, because maybe Airbnb is more of a visual
thing.
So you guys are downloading. You're showing photos of different rooms and talking about what works and what doesn't work.
Yep, totally.
Cool.
That's exactly. We've had 2 people last week send us their Airbnbs, and I'm blown away. I'm like, you guys, these places are incredible.
You guys.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about one of them today. There's still some things in the listing that I'm like, okay, you got to tweak this, you got to tighten this up. Other than that, your place is amazing.
Yeah.
So
people will love it.
That's fun. It's really fun. Shampooandbooze.com.
Yep. Actually, there's someone that hears our podcast who sells part-time on eBay. Him and his wife actually just bought a little cabin in Indiana, and that they're going to put.
They're branching out.
Yeah. they bought this thing for under $50,000. I'm like, that's so crazy.
People, I'm telling you.
Like, how are people buying little cabins for $50,000? Hey, that's amazing. You know? Like, there is nothing that cheap in our area.
Like, we think we're in a cheap area.
Yeah, I was like, man, that's what kind of rural area is that? Yep. So they're going to start doing that.
That's awesome.
Anyway, as always, sell trash and be partially free.
I mean, do I feel free this week?
This podcast is ending in 3, 2, 1. Bye.